Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to picture the scene. It's 2026.
Right.
You open your laptop, you check your phone, and the digital landscape you're looking at has completely tipped. We aren't just talking about playing around with ChatGPT for fun anymore.
No, those days are long gone. That was the toy phase.
Exactly. For small businesses, artificial intelligence isn't a nice-to-have add-on. It's the operating system.
It's the water we're all swimming in.
It is. But, and here's the hook that grabbed me immediately in the research we're covering today, there is this massive paradox sitting right in the middle of this whole tech revolution.
It's a sheer volume of noise, right?
It is the flood. We are absolutely drowning in content.
Mm-hmm.
The market is flooded with algorithmically generated text, images, emails, social posts. And because of that flood, the source material we're looking at today argues that the most valuable currency isn't speed.
And it isn't volumes.
It's the human touch. Precisely. The scarce resource is humanity. So welcome to the deep dive. Today we are unpacking a guide called the Human-Centric AI Strategy for Small Business.
Think of it as a survival manual.
Yeah, for what they call the zero-click reality of 2026.
And the mission for this deep dive is really to answer one specific, very painful question that I think a lot of business owners are wrestling with right now. How do you solve the dilemma of needing AI to compete? Because let's be honest, you can't compete effectively without it.
Right. If you aren't using it, you're just slow.
You're slow. But how do you use it without losing the soul of your brand? How do you automate your processes without ending up in that uncanny valley?
Where you sound like a robot.
And you alienate the very people you're trying to serve.
That's the tightrope walk. And to get us started, I want to jump straight into my favorite part of this entire guide. It's an analogy that just clicked for me instantly.
The sous chef.
The sous chef philosophy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love this metaphor. It completely reframes the relationship between the business owner and the technology.
So unpack that for us. Because usually when people think of AI, they think of a replacement.
Right.
I know when I first started messing with these tools, my first thought was, great, the robot can cook dinner while I go watch TV.
And that is the trap. The source argues that is the single biggest mistake people make.
What, thinking AI is the executive chef?
Exactly. If you treat AI as the chef, you get what they call brand dilution.
Brand dilution. That sounds expensive.
It's fatal. I mean, think about how these large language models, these LLMs, actually work. They're predictive engines.
Okay.
They predict the next most likely word based on the average of the entire internet.
So they are programmed to be average.
Essentially, yes. They regress to the mean. So if you ask an LLM to write a warm welcome email for a plumbing service, and your competitor down the street asks for the same thing,
you're going to get basically the same email.
You're going to get virtually the same email, but it's beige, it's vanilla, it's
the sea of sameness.
That's it. So the guide says, stop treating AI like the chef. Treat it like your sous chef.
Okay.
In a high-end kitchen, what does the sous chef do? They chop the onions, they simmer the stock.
The prep work.
They do the heavy lifting, they do the prep. That's the AI.
But the executive chef, that's you, the business owner, you are the one who tastes the sauce.
You're the one who says, this needs more acid or this needs a pinch of salt. You plate the dish.
You create the experience.
The AI provides the capacity, but you provide the taste.
They actually break this down into an 80-20 rule, which I found super practical. Because I think people get stuck on what to hand off.
Right. They feel guilty about automating.
Yeah.
Well, the 80% is the AI prep work. And think about what that 80% usually entails in a business day. It's clearing that blank page syndrome.
Ugh, the worst.
It's drafting outlines. It's summarizing those long, dense industry reports that you know you should read, but
you just don't have time for?
Yeah.
Or doing market trend research? It saves you the administrative drudgery.
Exactly. But then comes the 20%, the human finish.
The source is pretty strict on this, right? This isn't optional.
It is non-negotiable. You cannot just copy-paste the sous chef's prep work and serve it to the customer.
So what's in that human finish?
That is where you add personal anecdotes. It's where you add local references. It's where you talk about the actual reality of your business.
I love the example they gave about the blog post. If AI writes a post about your services, fine. That gives you the structure. But you need to go in.
You have to.
And add a paragraph about a specific client win you had last week.
Or a behind-the-scenes story that an algorithm just wouldn't know because it doesn't have eyes and ears in your office.
Right.
It doesn't know that your office dog knocked over the coffee maker yesterday.
And this actually connects to something deeper than just sounding nice, though. There is a very technical reason why this matters.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like we need to bridge the gap here because a lot of people think human touch is just fluff. But the source argues it's actually an SEO strategy.
It's not just about feelings, it's about ranking. This ties directly into Google's EEAT framework.
Okay, let's break that down because I always forget one of the E's, EEAT.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Got it.
Now, search engines in 2026 are getting incredibly good at detecting that first E experience.
Okay, how is that different from expertise? I mean, if the AI knows every fact about plumbing, isn't that expertise?
Yes, AI has expertise. It has access to the sum total of human data. It can recite code. It can diagnose based on descriptions, but
it doesn't have experience.
It hasn't lived. It hasn't struggled to fix a leak at 2 in the morning in a freezing basement. It hasn't felt the stress of making payroll.
So when I add that personal story about the leak at 2 a.m., I'm not just making it interesting for the reader.
No, you are signaling to the algorithms that this is high-value, original content. You are proving you exist in the physical world.
Wow.
The machine literally cannot generate that lived perspective. It can mimic it, but usually in a very generic, hollow way.
So the algorithm is basically asking, was a human actually involved in this? Or is this just more synthetic noise?
That's it exactly. In a world of infinite content, lived experience is the premium filter.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
You're proving you aren't a bot. But let's talk about where this goes wrong. Because we've all seen it.
Oh, yeah.
The guide calls it the Uncanny Valley of customer service.
This is the danger zone. The Uncanny Valley is that creepy feeling you get when something like a robot or a CGI character looks almost human, but not quite.
It's revolting to the human brain.
It is.
In business, this is that chatbot that pops up and says, "Hi, I'm Sarah. How was your weekend?" And you know for a fact it's not Sarah. It's a script.
And the source is very firm on this. Do not do that. Do not pretend the bot is a person.
So what's the move? The strategy for 2026 is radical transparency. Customers respect honesty way more than faked humanity.
So just say it. Hi, I'm the brand AI assistant.
Exactly. I can help you with orders or hours, or I can get a human for you. It sets the expectation.
If I know I'm talking to a bot, I'm patient with its limitations. I know it's there for speed. But if I think I'm talking to a human and it acts like a bot,
repeating the same phrase,
not understanding nuance, I feel deceived.
And that leads to the tactical takeaway I highlighted in neon yellow in my notes, the human escape hatch.
Crucial. You must never trap a customer in an automation loop. At any point, they should be able to type the word human and get out.
It seems so simple, but how many times have we been stuck shouting representative at a phone menu?
It creates friction, and friction destroys trust. The source actually suggests using sentiment analysis here to make this even smarter.
This is what they call proactive empathy, right? How does that work in practice?
Well, modern AI tools can detect tone. They know if a customer is using sarcastic language, or if they are typing in all he, cap, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Or if they seem confused and are asking the same question twice. The system should be programmed so that the second it detects high emotion, it flags it.
For a human?
For immediate human intervention, yes.
So the AI handles the boring stuff. Booking the appointment, checking the order status. But the moment feelings get involved, the executive chef steps in.
Precisely. You automate the tasks, not the relationship.
I like that.
Automate the friction, not the connection.
Automate the friction, not the connection. But let's dig deeper into that connection piece. The source talks about how to humanize your brand in a world where everyone has these tools.
Yeah.
And they point out something obvious, but profound. AI cannot feel, hasn't walked down the street. It doesn't know what the air smells like in your specific town. It doesn't know what the traffic is like on Main Street.
And it hasn't experienced the messy middle of building a business. Yeah. The source suggests we need to change our storytelling strategy.
Don't just show the highlight reel, which is fascinating because for the last decade of social media, it was all about the curated, perfect aesthetic, the perfect avocado toast, the perfect desk setup. But now, because AI can generate a perfect image of a happy family or a perfect office in seconds, perfection has become cheap. So raw is the new luxury.
In a way, yes. The source talks about user-generated content, or UGC. They argue that unedited, raw video testimonials,
where the lighting isn't great, maybe?
Maybe the lighting isn't great, maybe the camera shakes a bit. Those are becoming incredibly valuable assets.
Because they prove reality.
Exactly. It proves that a real person in a real place held your product. You can't prompt an AI to generate the genuine awkwardness or specific joy of a real local resident.
You can try, but people can spot the gloss.
They can.
Speaking of local, that was another huge pillar here.
Yeah.
Local integration. This seems like an area where small businesses actually have the advantage over the giants.
100%. This is your social proof that algorithms can't fake.
Okay.
If you mention in your content that you were at the charity drive in Nepawa, or you hosted a workshop in Brandon, or you were networking in Winnipeg,
Those are real things.
those are specific, verifiable, real-world touchpoints.
Use the AI to plan the event, sure.
But you have to show up. The source puts it really well. AI can synthesize information, but it can't create new stories.
It can't go to the event for you.
It can't shake hands.
This actually segues perfectly into the new reality of SEO that the guide warns us about. The zero-click reality. This sounds terrifying for anyone who relies on website traffic.
It's a major shift.
Can you explain what this shift actually looks like?
Yeah. We are seeing the rise of SGE, search generative experience, and AI overviews. Basically, when you search for something, the answer is just right there on the results page.
Right, Google just tells you the answer.
Yeah.
You don't need to click a link to get the info, so if nobody is clicking, how do we win?
That's the question.
If I'm a business owner, isn't that a nightmare?
It requires a pivot. You have to change the goal. You have to become citation-worthy.
Citation-worthy.
You want the AI, whether it's Gemini or Claude or whatever, to cite you as the source of the answer.
And how do we do that? Because the old way was just stuffing keywords into the text.
Right. Yeah, and generic high-volume keywords are dying. You need to focus on high-intent and semantic keywords.
Semantic meaning how we actually talk.
Exactly. Think about how you talk to a voice assistant. You don't say, Plumber Winnipeg.
That's robot talk.
That's how we learned to talk to search engines in 2010. Now you say, who is the most reliable plumber near me who handles emergency leaks?
Ah, okay. That's a huge difference.
The search engines are looking for that conversational context.
And they are looking for entities. This was a term I struggled with a bit in the reading. What exactly is entity recognition?
So in the past, search engines matched strings of text. You had the word plumber, it matched the search.
Symbol.
Now, the search engine is trying to understand the relationship between things. It wants to connect the entity of your brand with the entity of your location and the entity of your expertise.
It's building a map of reality.
Yes. And this is where the local junction business directory came up in the source material.
Right. They mentioned that specifically as a tactic.
They mention that being part of a trusted ecosystem is a primary signal. In an AI world, citations are the new backlinks.
Okay.
If an AI assistant is asked for a recommendation, it scanned its database for businesses that appear in trusted, verified directories.
So if you are listed in the local junction directory, that validates to the AI that you are a real business existing in the physical world, not just a spam site generated by another bot.
Exactly. It validates your existence in the local ecosystem. It tells the AI, this entity is real, it is located here, and it is trusted by this directory.
That is gold.
That is gold for the zero-click world, because it makes you the answer the AI provides.
I want to touch on the ethical side of this before we wrap up, because the source makes a really strong point that being a good human business isn't just moral.
No.
It's actually a competitive advantage now.
Trust is an asset. We are moving into an era of deep fakes and mass-produced garbage content. If you can establish that you use data privately, that you are transparent about your AI use, and that you check for bias, you stand out.
Bias awareness was a big one in the text.
It is. We have to remember that AI models are trained on the internet, and let's face it,
The internet has biases?
the internet has biases. If you just let the AI run wild with your marketing, you might end up excluding people without even realizing it.
Right.
You have to check the output to ensure it aligns with your values of inclusivity.
So again, it comes back to the sous chef. You don't serve the dish without tasting it first.
Exactly. And they also warn against the trap of quality versus quantity. It is so tempting to just say, hey, AI, write me 50 blog posts this week.
I mean, who hasn't been tempted by that? I'll be the content king.
But that is the fast track to a penalty. The source warns that helpful content updates from search engines are actively punishing that kind of behavior.
So one great piece is better.
One deep, human, well-researched piece is worth more than a dozen generic AI articles.
It really all comes back to that hybrid concept. The conclusion of the source material calls it the hybrid entrepreneur.
I love that term. The future doesn't belong to the Luddites who reject AI. They'll get left behind because they're too slow.
Right.
But it also doesn't belong to the tech bros who try to automate everything. They'll lose their soul. It belongs to the people who use AI for the what?
The logic, the data, the structure.
So they can focus on the why.
The emotion, the connection, the purpose.
That's it.
So what does this all mean for us? For the listener driving to work right now, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by all this change?
It means we have to stop looking at AI as a replacement and start looking at it as a partner.
A tool.
It's there to handle the friction. It's there to buy you time.
Time to do what?
Time to be human. I think the most provocative thought for me from this entire deep dive was this line. AI can write a sentence, but it cannot feel the gratitude of a customer.
That stuck with me too. It cannot feel gratitude.
That's it. That is the core. In a digital world, your humanity is your competitive moat. It is the one thing that cannot be copied.
So here is our challenge to you, the listener. Think about your work week. Which part of your work is the vegetable chopping? The stuff you should be handing off to the sous chef?
And more importantly, what is the secret pinch of salt?
What is the thing that only you can provide? Is it the personal check-in call? Is it the local knowledge? Is it the way you solve a specific problem?
Identify that and double down on it. That is where your value lies.
Step out of the algorithm and into your community. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.